The room without mirrors. No one in the house used the third room. They didn't say it was forbidden. They didn't need to. The door remained shut on its own, as if the space behind it had learned the usefulness of being ignored. I moved back after my brother died. Elliot and I were born minutes apart, close enough that our lives overlapped in strange, intimate ways. Shared thoughts, shared habits, shared silences that didn't need explanation. When he stepped in front of the train, that overlap collapsed. What was left behind felt uneven, as if half of my shadow had been torn away. Our parents had already left the house by then, unable to bear the rooms still shaped around 2 children instead of 1. I told myself I returned for practical reasons, cheaper rent, familiar streets. But the truth was simpler and uglier. I wanted to be somewhere that still remembered him. The first thing I noticed was the absence. The hallway mirror was gone. So was the one above the staircase, the oval mirror by the coat rack, the tall standing mirror that used to lean against the wall near the third room. Pale rectangles marked where they had hung, the wallpaper beneath lighter, untouched by years of air and light. "Why did you remove all the mirrors?" I asked my mother over the phone. There was a pause. Not a long one. Just enough. Standing just out of alignment with the door frame. When I turned my head, there was nothing, just empty space and the soft hum of the house settling. But when I looked away, I felt him, watching. The rule revealed itself slowly. He never appeared where I could see myself. No mirrors, no reflections, no glass that could return my gaze to me. Only the blind angles, the places where identity broke down. I began to test it. I stood in front of the bathroom sink, staring into the bare wall where the mirror once was. I felt foolish until the air behind me cooled. Not a breath, not a touch, a density. "I know you're there," I said. The silence pressed closer. That night, I dreamed of standing in a vast room filled with mirrors. Every surface reflected someone who looked like me, but each version was missing something. An eye, a shadow, a name. None of them were Elliot. I woke with my heart racing and the certainty that I had misunderstood everything. He wasn't haunting the house. He was avoiding himself. The third room door opened on its own 2 nights later. The room was stripped bare. No bed, no desk, no posters. The walls had been scrubbed clean where mirrors once covered them, leaving faint outlines like scars. The floor was immaculate, polished to a dull, light-absorbing finish. I stepped inside. The air felt thick, resistant, as though the room had learned how to hold on to things. "Elliot," I whispered. He stood in the far corner, not solid, not transparent. He was defined by absence, by the way the darkness bent around him, refusing to reflect him. His face was mine, but incomplete, as if it had been remembered instead of seen. "You're not him," I said, though my voice trembled. He tilted his head. "I am what's left when you look away." The words weren't spoken. They formed directly inside me, fitting into places grief had already hollowed out. I understood then what my parents had tried to prevent. Mirrors anchor you. They insist on continuity, on proof. Without them, the mind fills the gaps. Elliot hadn't survived death, but something born from our shared self had. "You can't stay," I said. "You already made space." The room pulsed. The walls seemed to lean inward, erasing edges, erasing distinction. I felt myself thinning, my sense of self blurring like breath on glass that wasn't there. I fled. The next morning, I bought mirrors, cheap ones, imperfect ones. I hung them everywhere, hallway, bathroom, bedroom, even the door of the third room. That night, the house screamed, not aloud, internally, a violent rejection, like a body expelling something foreign. I locked myself in my room, surrounded by reflections of myself, forcing my identity to multiply, to anchor, to remain. By dawn, the third room was empty again, truly empty. I live alone now, in a smaller apartment, every wall lined with reflective surfaces. Sometimes, in the corner of my eye, I still feel something watching, but when I turn, I see myself, whole, complete, and terrified of what might happen if I ever stop looking.